It is an honor to be here at my first WOW and the first developer keynote, and it is a sheer pleasure to get to talk about managed agent runtimes, because really, we get to talk about code. And when I started developing, I was self-taught, and it was really kind of intimidating to learn how to decode what I was reading on the screen, what I was understanding, and that's really what's at the heart of these agent frameworks that have gained popularity over these last couple years. And if you haven't worked with one, or maybe you're new to development, the popularity behind them is the fact that they're the pre-built libraries, the toolkits that make it very easy to do very powerful things in just a few lines of code. And up here we have, a framework I invented the other day in order to have it on a slide, my framework. And you can see at the top we're doing things like imports. My framework, we're going to import an agent or a cool model, those sort of pre-built components that are built for you. And then down below, we're going to do get data, go grab something from a website in one line. And then down below that, I'm doing something called decorating with it at tool. It's just Python. You can call custom code really quickly and easily, so I can give my agent even more skills. And then down below, that's one line where we're going to call a model. And as we all know, model providers have their own APIs with their own API specs, their own names for models, and in one line, I can swap models in and out. And then down below, I have a very, very complex prompt. How long is Las Vegas Boulevard? And then we're going to wrap it all together and feed it to our agent, our prompt, various kinds of tools, and then we can invoke the agent in just a few lines of code. And that's what frameworks let you do. Very quickly and very simply, you can do a lot of work. And that's why agent frameworks have also grown in the variety and type. On the slide, we have just the top 20 or so most popular frameworks on GitHub. And you have a variety of architectural styles that you can take. On one hand, as a developer, when something like an error occurs, you can control it. You can program what happens and retain a lot of control. Or you can defer, and at runtime, let the agent decide what happens. You can have different kinds of teams supporting the agent. One end, if your team likes to work in code, there's a framework that will support that. On the other end, if the team prefers to work maybe in the UI, something that's more declarative friendly, there are frameworks that will support that. And given all of those different sorts of contexts that you may need to triangulate for, there will be a framework that you can choose. Heck, you can even just choose a framework beginning in Lang and have any one of those contexts support you. And all of this means that this incredible variety, the richness and activity on open source, mean that we also have to think about a lot of these things when we're going to deploy these frameworks in the enterprise. Because open source decision making in the enterprise brings a lot more considerations for all of us. The activity in open source, we also have to think about the provenance issue. Just like MCP servers, we have to not just think about the maintainers and the originators of the framework itself. We have to think about that whole software supply chain. Any dependencies that that framework may have, can we trust them? Can we bring them into our landscape? Do we even know what those dependencies are? If we think about the number of pull requests, some of the most popular frameworks may have hundreds, if not thousands, of pull requests merged over the course of a week or a month. Can we keep up with updating our own references to the frameworks, our own versions? And as developers, I think we all know, with more control comes more responsibility. And as we own that end-to-end life cycle from idea to deployment on through maintenance and observability and production, it means that the business is then going to be signing up for that whole topography, that whole complex terrain of that agent lifecycle. And that is a lot to manage. And that's why today I'm very excited that we're going to be showing you managed agent runtimes with Workato. It means that you can have the flexibility of choosing your own framework and then deploying it on a trusted infrastructure on Workato. So at runtime, you're going to get more observability and more control. You're going to get that increased security for the resources that your agent may want to use. You're going to get the ability to tap into those trusted enterprise actions to make your agents even more powerful and let you focus on different kinds of logic as a developer. So, enough talking. Are you ready to see this? I want to welcome my colleague and friend, Chris Miller, to the stage because we built a little something that we want to show you. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, Chris, so what do we have in store here?
Well, every day when I come to work, I have to check email. And I get a lot of email, as I'm sure a lot of you do. And my team works across multiple time zones. And that means that things are changing constantly, even while I'm asleep. So after email, I have to look at Jira and check tickets that have changed. I need to go through Slack messages. Feels like it really kills my productivity. It's a real drag.
It's like a whole job before your actual job.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, I'd like to do something about this. What if I could come into work and I could look at a single pane of glass and I could have all the details I needed to know to start my day? My calendar appointments, tickets that have changed, files that have changed, even current trends that are going on in the industry. So I don't have to read through all those newsletters that go in that folder I never look at.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And this is exactly what you're looking at. This is an email that was generated by my agent. It has my schedule here. You can see different tickets that have been modified. And in fact, I'm able to pull from the same source that Jasper did earlier and bring in those tickets from the marketing team.
And I like that as we're scrolling, it's a little bit fast with the tiny text, but I do see that you're actually getting summaries. The agent is kind of giving you an opinion of what changed or what happened, and that's one of the powerful things that LLMs can give you. So you're actually saving time.
Yeah, it saves me a ton of time, and it's just a really concise view. And if I'm really interested in any particular thing, I could just click a link in the email to get to that actual ticket or that Slack message.
Okay, so I wonder, did you use some sort of agent framework to build this?
I did. I actually chose to use AWS Strands. It's an open source framework. It's vendor agnostic. I can use any model. I can run the model anywhere. I can run the code anywhere. So it's super flexible. It's less opinionated. And so it allows me to just kind of be in control of how I want things to work.
Can you show us that?
Sure. Okay, so here we have VS Code. This is my integrated development environment. It's the tool that developers like me use to edit code. And here you see Python code. And you can see some imports here that include strands, and I'm even using MCP here.
Okay, so, and we're all experts in frameworks now, so we know exactly what you wrote. Can we see your agent in action?
Sure. All right, so we go ahead and run this, and what it does is it goes through and it starts talking to all the different tools via MCP, checking out Jira, Google Calendar, Google Drive, looking for those current trends. And then it calls an LLM and it starts to wrap all this complex data that comes back from those endpoints and builds this daily summary that you can see being printed right here.
And those of you that maybe aren't familiar with integrated development environments, this terminal window, it lets Chris run this on his local machine. And that's not exactly how you got that email sent to you by your agent, is it?
No, this is more the build process, but I want this to run automatically for me every single morning. So I can't run it on my laptop because it'll be closed. So I need to run that in the cloud. And in this case, I want to run it on Workato.
So how are we going to get there? Are we going to copy paste, do a lot of clicks? How are we getting this to Workato?
We could copy paste, but we've been working on the Workato CLI, and it allows us in one click to be able to deploy that recipe into my environment.
And I just want to take a moment, because it's not released yet, but it is coming soon, the Workato CLI command line interface, which will let you developers stay in your integrated development environment and do things like Workato push, move your code around into the cloud. It's going to be a really great way of working for you. Really excited to bring this to you and hear your feedback. It's going to be really awesome. Yeah. So can we see what that looks like in Workato?
Sure. Okay, so this is my main recipe screen. So each one of these represent a connection to a data endpoint, and it exposes it as an API, similar to what you saw in Jasper's demo. So all of these are combined into a collection that is then wrapped into an MCP server. And in fact, I can even use the same MCP server that Jasper made because he can share it with me on the platform. But we'll just dig into one of these real quick here. So here in Google Drive, I want to look at files that have been modified over a certain period of time. On a Tuesday, I probably want to see files that were modified since I left work 12 or 14 hours before. But when I come in on a Monday, I may want to see all the files that were modified over the entire weekend. But what I've done here is this time period in hours is a little data pill that gives the agent control, so the agent can decide how far back it wants to go collect these files. So these aren't hard-coded rules in here. I'm handing the control to the agent so it can act autonomously on my behalf.
So you can mix and match that developer control that you got with Strands with that data pill in Workato and give the agent control. It's really nice.
Let's take a look at the recipe.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the main agent recipe. I have a simple trigger here. It's built into Workato, runs at 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, because try not to work on the weekends. And here we have the manage agent runtime. I'm passing in secure secrets through environment variables. And then if we get down here, you can see this is the same code that you were looking at in my IDE. It just got pushed out here, and we're ready to rock and roll.
And I can see down there you have an action that's creating an email. Is that the only thing you can do with this?
Yeah, actually the payload that comes out of the agent has all of the information to be able to build that email, but it's in a format that can be translated into just about anything. So this is just a simple action that sends it via HTML email. But I started talking to people within the company, and the marketing team said, hey, we could really benefit from this, because if it's saving you time, like we have more people on our team, it'll save us a bunch of time. But you know, we're not really email people. We live in Jira and Confluence, and you know, it'd be really cool if we could just open up Confluence and have a daily brief and a web page. And so that's what I built. I just added another action. It takes all this information, puts it in a different format, uses a nice little template, and here we go.
Oh, nice. And of course, marketing team, it's confetti, but who doesn't like a little confetti to start their day?
Yeah, so
That's
here
awesome.
you see same kind of information.
Yeah, hey, Adam.
We Design Co. I like it.
Exactly.
Let's give a hand to
Thanks.
Zane and Chris for the demo.
All right.
All right, thanks everyone.